Targeting the vulnerable: how the Trump administration is reversing disability rights. In 2025, the Trump administration initiated a sweeping set of policy changes that pose a serious threat to disability rights in America. From public education to public health surveillance, these changes impact millions of children and adults with neurological, developmental, and physical disabilities. This video exposes how the administration, led by President Trump, Secretary of Education Linda McMahon, and Public Health Advisor RFK Jr., is pushing policies that reverse decades of progress in disability inclusion and protection. School discipline policy. One of the most consequential actions was the signing of the executive order titled Reinstating Common Sense School Discipline Policies in April 2025. On its face, this order promises fairness and behavioral accountability. But here's what it really does. It repeals Obama-era guidance that helped reduce racial and disability-related disparities in school discipline. It mandates that schools discipline students solely based on observable behavior, removing any obligation to consider underlying factors such as a disability or trauma. This undermines the protections granted by the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, which require schools to assess whether a student's behavioral issues are linked to a disability. Without these considerations, students with autism, ADHD, epilepsy, anxiety disorders, and other conditions are now at higher risk of suspension, expulsion, and criminalization. The policy ignores years of research showing that punitive discipline disproportionately harms neurodivergent and disabled children, often pushing them out of school and into the juvenile justice system. The Autism Registry proposal. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., now in a public health advisory role within the Trump administration, has proposed a national registry of autistic individuals, claiming the data is necessary to investigate environmental causes of autism. But this proposal raises significant ethical and historical red flags. Historically, regimes like Nazi Germany and Stalinist Russia used disability registries to marginalize, surveil, sterilize, and even exterminate people deemed unfit or defective. In the U.S., eugenics-driven policies in the early 20th century led to the forced sterilization of thousands of disabled individuals. RFK Jr.'s registry does not outline how consent, privacy, or usage of the data will be managed, nor how the registry would benefit autistic individuals themselves. Without legal safeguards, a centralized database of neurodivergent people could be used to target, stigmatize, or control this community. Attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion. The administration has also taken direct aim at DEI programs, especially those supporting students with disabilities and intersectional identities. Secretary Linda McMahon has directed federal education funding to be contingent on schools eliminating equity-based discipline policies, labeling them as unfair advantages. As a result, schools are dismantling inclusion initiatives that create sensory-friendly environments, mental health resources, and universal design curriculum practices. Funding has been pulled from programs offering individualized supports like IEP implementation specialists, behavior therapists, and social-emotional learning. These rollbacks create hostile, inaccessible learning environments. They especially harm students who depend on accommodations to learn and participate fully. Broader policy environment and long-term impact. These actions are not occurring in a vacuum. They coincide with broader efforts to erode civil rights protections. Federal agencies have been ordered to review and defund contracts with organizations promoting DEI, disability inclusion, or accessibility. Medicaid disability waivers are under review for potential cost-cutting reforms, putting life-sustaining supports at risk. Mental health programs once supported by the Department of Health and Human Services are being deprioritized. Taken together, this creates a landscape in which disabled Americans are more isolated, less protected, and more vulnerable to institutional abuse. It rolls back generations of hard-fought gains in education, healthcare access, employment protections, and social participation. Disability rights are not fringe issues, they are fundamental human rights. The Trump administration's coordinated attacks on neurodivergent and disabled people must be met with resistance and exposure. Here's how you can help: share this video and spread awareness. Support disability-led organizations fighting for justice. Contact your lawmakers to demand protections for IDEA, ADA, and Section 504. Reject policies that erase, punish, or control the disabled community. History has taught us that silence enables oppression. When governments start making lists, ignoring context, and dismantling support systems, it is always the most vulnerable who suffer first. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, and subscribe for more, right here on Mental Mirror.